about having the conversations. I think it's just starting talking about it is a huge step forward, and then looking at what people's best hopes are. Where would they like to be? Where do they want to be in a year? Where do they want to be in 5 years' time? And look at those small steps. Where are they already making those changes? Because there will be times when they're not using psychometrics. So how can they do more of that? What are you already doing that's not psychometric based? How do you do more of that? And be brave. I think just have confidence in the skills that you have. I think read about psychology, read about how culturally biased we have been in the past. And I think that can be really motivating to think about how to change. There's no simple way of doing it. I think it's just a wish to do it, and having that a big enough group of people who can see that this is possible, and have a go, have a try at it.
So I think from a trainee perspective, I would say that having been given the freedom and the space to practice, to use consultation has been so helpful. I think if I reflect back, I don't feel like I'm doing anything groundbreaking in my approach, but it's given me space to think creatively, to have more opportunities to use consultation with schools to support the child. So I think a key message from my trainee perspective would be an encouragement that it doesn't look substantially qualitatively different or difficult, but that space, that openness that I felt that I've had as a trainee has been so helpful to my beginning experience in the profession.
I think it's really important to come together as a service and look at the issue of assessment and to engage in discussion, even where there's tensions and it might be difficult. This will help to underscore people's practices, as I've said, is so important through the Bolam test, so that we can say that we are operating in a context of how other EPs would be operating. And I think we've got a duty, if you like, of responsibility to be able to keep those discussions alive. The world is changing. It's 2021. We need to be using assessment methods and techniques that are fit for today's practice and purpose. We're also working in an increasingly global environment, and we need to make sure that we take into account those contextual and systemic factors that are altering conceptions of how children learn, building on the psychological theory. So I think it's really important for the confidence of an individual EP to feel that they are able to have supportive discussions about this issue, even where it might be difficult. And if the service is able to develop some kind of policy or framework, then I think that that will actually help those feelings of confidence to become even stronger. EPs want to serve children well and help move things in a positive direction in terms of their education. So I think that assessment is a very important topic that's got to be at the heart of all strategic work undertaken by educational psychology services and in collaboration with others in the local authority. And it means that we have to come together and we have to have discussions at a national and international level and be able to move the situation forward.
I mean, the advice I would give is that, and it won't surprise you from the point of view of what I've said earlier, which is that take your service with you. So, you know, engage in this process, but you're going to have to, if you're clear about, I suppose the first question would be being clear about what are the values and principles that you hold to as a service. And ask yourself that question in an open and challenging way, knowing that there are other services elsewhere that work in very different ways. If what you do is you work predominantly using psychometrics. So in answer to the question, is there another psychology service that operates effectively without psychometrics? The answer is yes, there's at least one. And I'm confident that there's others as well out there. And there will be individual psychologists in other services, I know, who eschew the use of psychometrics. So know that it can happen. The question would then be, Is that where you want to get to as a service? And if so, you need to be really clear about why that is, because you're going to have to defend it. And you need to be, in terms of that rationale, work that rationale out as a service together. And I suppose, you know, I mean, I've always held to the idea that we should share our knowledge and experiences and practice, and that's partly why we're doing this video, so that people can actually hear from us directly, and psychologists who've gone before me directly about their experiences in Nottinghamshire. So the first thing would be do it together as a service. Secondly, interrogate your own values and principles. And then thirdly, learn from other people.